By now, you have built a strong understanding of how the ISM governs identity, endpoints, servers, networks, and cloud services. This lecture brings all of those elements together through one critical capability: visibility. Under the ISM, if you cannot see what is happening in your environment, you cannot protect it. Logging, monitoring, and detection exist to make risk visible before it becomes damage. The ISM starts from a realistic assumption: prevention will eventually fail. No matter how well you design systems, attackers will find new techniques, misconfigurations will occur, and users will make mistakes. Logging and monitoring are how government organizations recognize that something has gone wrong and respond before impact escalates. When you think about logs under the ISM, you should not think about them as technical exhaust or compliance artifacts. Logs are records of behavior. They tell the story of who accessed what, when actions occurred, and how systems behaved over time. Without logs, incidents become invisible, investigations become speculative, and accountability disappears. The ISM expects logging to be deliberate and centralized. Individual systems generating logs is not enough. Logs must be collected, protected, and stored in a way that prevents tampering and loss. Centralization allows correlation across systems, identities, and networks. This is how isolated events become meaningful signals. You should also understand that not all logs are equally valuable. The ISM emphasizes security relevant logging. This includes authentication events, privilege use, configuration changes, network connections, and access to sensitive data. These events represent changes in trust and state, which are exactly what attackers attempt to manipulate. Logging is only the first step. Monitoring is what turns raw data into awareness. Monitoring means actively analyzing logs and events to identify patterns, anomalies, and indicators of compromise. Under the ISM, monitoring is not optional or reactive. It is an ongoing operational responsibility. Effective monitoring allows you to answer critical questions quickly. Is this activity normal? Has this identity behaved this way before? Is this system communicating in an unexpected manner? Without monitoring, logs sit unused until after damage occurs. The ISM treats that as an unacceptable gap. Detection builds on monitoring by formalizing how suspicious activity is identified. Detection mechanisms include alerts, thresholds, behavioral analysis, and correlation rules. The ISM does not mandate specific detection technologies, but it expects detection to be timely, reliable, and actionable. Timeliness matters because delays increase impact. A compromise detected within minutes is a manageable incident. The same compromise detected weeks later may already involve data exfiltration, persistence, and widespread trust erosion. The ISM's emphasis on detection reflects the government's need to limit damage, not just record it. Another important expectation under the ISM is log integrity. Logs themselves must be protected. If attackers can modify or delete logs, detection and investigation fail. This is why secure storage, access controls, and retention policies are critical. Logs must be treated as sensitive data in their own right. Retention is also risk-based. The ISM expects logs to be retained long enough to support detection, investigation, and assurance activities. This does not mean retaining everything forever. It means retaining what is necessary based on system criticality, threat landscape, and operational need. Logging and monitoring also support accountability and governance. When decisions are questioned by executives, auditors, or oversight bodies, logs provide objective evidence of what occurred. They protect organizations from speculation and individuals from unfair blame. Evidence replaces opinion. You should also recognize how logging supports incident response, which you will explore more deeply in later lectures. During an incident, logs become the primary source of truth. They help responders understand scope, sequence, and impact. Without logs, response becomes guesswork, increasing both duration and risk. In cloud and SaaS environments, logging becomes even more important. Control is abstracted, but responsibility remains. The ISM expects you to enable and consume logs from cloud platforms, identity systems, and managed services. Visibility does not disappear in the cloud. It must be deliberately configured. Another critical aspect is noise management. Poorly designed monitoring overwhelms teams with alerts that do not matter. The ISM expects detection to be meaningful, not exhaustive. Effective monitoring focuses attention where risk is highest and supports prioritized response. Logging and monitoring also enable continuous improvement. Patterns observed over time reveal weaknesses in controls, user behavior, and system design. These insights feed back into risk management, control refinement, and governance decisions. Detection is not just about incidents, it is about learning. One of the most important mindset shifts you must make is this: logs are not collected for audits. Audits exist because logs are collected. Logging is an operational necessity first and a compliance enabler second. When logging is done well, compliance becomes a byproduct rather than a burden. The ISM also expects clear ownership of logging and monitoring responsibilities. Systems must have defined logging requirements. Monitoring must be actively managed. Alerts must have owners. Visibility without responsibility is still blindness. The key takeaway from this lecture is this: logging, monitoring, and detection are how the ISM turns assumptions into evidence. They allow government organizations to move from hoping systems are secure to knowing when they are not. When you understand logging this way, it stops being a storage problem or a cost discussion. It becomes a trust mechanism. It is how government demonstrates control over complex, distributed, and constantly changing environments.